because there's the technical part of it, which we're not covering at all. So we're sort of like really just skimming the top of it. And what I wanted to do was to make it as easy and simple for everyone to take on board. So I hope that I'm hitting the right level with it. Before we get in, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. So I'm a sales and marketing strategist and business mentor. I've been working for myself since 2011, and my company is called the Blueprint Group Practice. I have 20 plus years marketing and sales experience behind me, and I absolutely love working with my clients around their strategy and planning and creating those go-to-market plans. And then what I specifically help people to do is have conversations that convert. So when you speak to a contact, you actually have a very easy, authentic way that plays into your integrity as to how you change that into a sales conversation and convert them into a paying client. Before I started the Blueprint Practice, my corporate life, I worked for a company called Willis Towers Watson. They were the largest global actuarial consultancy in the world, and I headed up marketing for Europe. So I did an awful lot of traveling. I headed it up for the financial management division. There were 3 divisions in the company. Before that, I worked for a company that pioneered executive coaching. We worked with over 50% of the FTSE 100. We worked with the top 8, plus we worked with the big companies like the Coca-Colas and John Lewis's of this world. And although I went in there as the marketing person, I had to do all the training the coaches did. And then before that, I worked for a company called SoftLab, which was the largest software house in Europe. They were partly owned by BMW, and over the years, they became fully owned by BMW. And SoftLab created the first integrated development environment in the history of computing, which means Windows. They were the first people to actually come up with the fact that you could have several different programs opened up on your screen and move through Windows without having to close things down. Okay, oh yeah, and I have an MA in marketing, dissertation in services branding, and Chartered Institute of Marketing. So the purpose, let's get into the sales funnel chat. So the purpose of your sales funnel is to attract an immense number of people to your business. Okay, I thought, my God, where have the slides gone? So once in your funnel, it is then your job to take your potential client on a journey which leads them to a sale. So I don't know if I've got this in my slides actually, but I'm just going to add this here. When we do marketing, we need to have funnels. All of us need to have funnels these days to make our marketing work better for us. If we don't have funnels, regardless of how simple they are, we are leaving an awful lot of money on the table. We're sort of like leaving a lot of potential clients on the table. So you need to have these funnels in place, albeit very, very simple, and they can be very simple. So today I'm going to be talking about creating online sales funnels. Now, is there really a difference between online and offline? A little bit, but today we're going to be focusing on online. So where do we start? Well, here you go. So this is your sales funnel. It can also be known as a marketing funnel, and it can also be known as your buyer's journey. So if you're thinking, oh, I've got a sales funnel, I've got a marketing funnel, I've got a buyer's journey, they can be the same thing. Now, some people might have them slightly different, but for ease, just think of them as the same thing. So a sales funnel illustrates how your marketing system guides potential clients along your buyer's journey from awareness to sale. So as you can see, we've got these awareness, consideration, that says conversation. It's conversion, everyone. I thought I changed it. Conversion, loyalty, and then ref is referral. I think maybe I only changed it on one of them. Oh, how silly. Okay. Conversation, right? So awareness. Your prospect is aware of the problem and is trying to find a solution. Consideration. Your prospect is considering the options that are out there to them. Then conversion, not conversation, conversion is the prospect chooses who to work with and buys. And then loyalty, the client is happy and buys from you again and again. And one of the things I don't hear business owners talk enough about is, how do I create loyal customers? Because the most easiest people to sell to are the ones who've already bought from you. But so often what happens is people buy something from somebody and they engage with them and then they leave them alone, and it's crazy. You've got to have other things that you can get your client to buy from you so that your client stays with you and engages. And then ref is referral. It's when your client recommend you, or they become a referrer for you. So it's like having an unpaid sales force, which is fantastic in any business, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur like we are. There you go, conversion, yay. Okay, so at the very top of your funnel, just outside it, as you can see, we've got client avatar. You've got to know your client avatar. Now, I'm sure, like many of you, you've heard this an awful lot. Know what your client avatar is. And a lot of people tend to dismiss it because they think, oh yeah, what magazine do they read? Where do they like to go on holiday? What's their name? How old they are? Well, that's the demographics. And that's important to know. But what's really, really important to know is to get under the skin of your ideal client and understand, what are they thinking and how are they feeling? Because when you know truly what's keeping them up at night, and very rarely is it your offer. I mean, I sell sales mastery. I don't think any of my clients are staying up, being kept awake at night thinking, oh, I've got to buy that program. But what my clients are thinking about, for example, are, I'm really worried how my children are going to get on in their exams. I'm really worried about how my children are going to settle into university. My children are not getting on with their friends at school. We've got that big bill that's coming in. So when I know that, because I get under the skin of my ideal client, I can then use that type of information in my marketing. So I can say things like, when you do my program, it means that you will have more money to invest in any of your family activities that you want to do, or to spend more time with your family and your loved ones. So you can use it in a way without actually having to say it, but you can use it to direct your clients. So understanding your ideal client avatar is really, really important. Getting under the skin so they know how they think and feel, because then you can use that information in an appropriate way in your marketing. So let's go through the actual funnel, which is a triangle upside down, because the whole idea is you've got a lot of people coming into this top of your funnel, and then as they move down, they sort of like become less and less. So at the awareness stage, at this stage, your prospect, your future client, is actively looking for solutions to their problems and ways to achieve their goals. So what you've got to think about here is, okay, your clients are out there in the ether. You can't see them at this stage. So what you've got to do is start to use your social media and sources of traffic to drive and attract your clients to you. And of course, you need to be giving great value in your content as well. You need to be talking about the issues and the challenges your client needs help with. And of course, a great way to actually capture them is by using a lead magnet, which I'm sure you're all aware of. But if anybody isn't, please let me know at the end. And then when you attract them with some great content, they're going to start to come into your world and start to get to know you better. But there is, I thought this was coming a bit later, but there is a mistake some business owners make. Now, this may all sound very, very simple, but there is a wrong way to do this. So let me explain. None of us would dream of walking into a networking meeting and handing out a business card and say, buy my services or products. We all know not to do this. We know that's the wrong way. However, what happens is when we're online is we don't follow the same thing. So what we'll find is that people will write a post and say, click here to buy, DM me, sign up to my program. And that's the message that you're sending out to people who don't even know you. And that is the equivalent of going into a networking meeting, handing out your business card and saying, buy me. And what we want to do is make an elegant close, because when you make an elegant close, you get the business. And this is a mistake I see a lot of business owners make. And we're going to talk about the elegant close a little bit later on, but I just wanted to put that in here just to highlight that point to you. So let's get back to our funnel. So we know what awareness is, okay? And consideration. At this stage, your prospect, your future client, is making the decision as to which offer they want to take. They are paying more attention to what you offer, including your different packages, your options, your promotions, so that they can make a final decision to purchase. And this is where, you know, your sales offers are made using things like your sales pages or your webinars or your discovery calls or your 30-minute calls or whatever you might do. Your next segment in your funnel is your conversion. Now, at this stage, the prospect is becoming a client by finalizing the deal with you. They're signing up, they're signing the contract, they're clicking the purchase button, and then the money is transferred into your bank account, which is fabulous. It's important to state that there might be additional sales to your sales funnel. So, for example, one of the things that people will do, especially if you buy an online program, is they will say, and if you pay a little bit more, you can also get this. So I'm sure you've seen it where you've brought those, what I call no-brainer offers. They're about maybe $47. And you get to a point of paying and they say, hey, would you also like to buy this program? And they give you a price for it at a special deal, a one-time only that you'll never get again. So although we're looking at our funnel, which has got like 5 stages to it, sometimes some funnels can have more stages when it starts to get more complex. So I just wanted to add that in so that you knew that it is at that conversion stage that you can also do an upsell. And then we have loyalty. And at this stage in your funnel, your focus is on keeping your clients happy in order to convert them into repeat buyers. So to keep clients happy, you need to stay engaged. They need to stay engaged with your products and services, and you need to stay engaged with them. You can do that very simply by doing things like such as sharing emails or letting them know you've got special offers on, or doing some outreach and having a chat to find out how they're getting on. You might be sending them some user guides. You might be doing some free webinars or webinars that only your clients are going to get. You might do a little free video course that you could send them. And there's probably an awful lot more that you can think about as well to add to that list. But what you've got to remember is don't leave them alone. You know, continue to build that relationship with them. Continue to strengthen that relationship with them. And that is how you get loyalty. And that's how people are going to keep coming back, buying from you. Because if you stay at the forefront of your client's mind, when they come to think about buying, whether it's hand cream or whether they're thinking about buying clothes or they're thinking about working with a coach or a stylist, you're going to be at the forefront of your mind because you're interacting with them. And sometimes we do need to do a little bit of personal interaction with people. And then finally, what we've got is referral. So this is word of mouth. It's an incredibly powerful tactic, marketing promotional tactic. It's, you know, one of the best. And this will happen naturally for you if you have a happy client. And if they can see that, as we said before, I think it was one of the ladies who said, you know, your clients don't care what you know until they know how much you care. So if you can show your clients that you do care about them, that and you give client care, then they're far more likely to recommend you. So how does this funnel align with your content marketing so that you know what to do at what stage? Well, when we're in the awareness stage, blogging, especially using video, and I have to say you can use video at every stage of this, will attract interest and awareness. And if you just think about it, if you write a blog, say on LinkedIn, my understanding is that you've got to write it over 1,000 words because that really helps the algorithm to pick it up. But it's an opportunity for somebody to read more about you and to read more about your thoughts on something. Even if you've got a program, let's say, I know, for example, Carole Hansen, who's a good friend of mine and is on here today. She's got a fantastic new membership that she's created around style. So Carole could actually write a blog about her style membership and how it's helping women and giving them confidence and helping them to understand what the other options are apart from just going into the shop and buying, as we've seen with the thrift. Carole's an ambassador for thrift, and as we've seen that, and of course Helen showed us the fabulous Marc Jacobs bag, which is brilliant. So Carole could actually write a blog about her style program on LinkedIn. It's something that very few people do, but it's absolutely okay to do. And then if somebody is searching Carole's profile and looking at her articles, she's got something there about her membership. If we look at the consideration stage in your funnel, this is where you want to do some lead magnets. You know, you want to give people that free video course or do some webinars, because by that stage at the beginning, they've sort of like got to know you. They've seen your social media. They've probably connected with you. Now they want to drill a little bit deeper. They want to get a better understanding of you and what you're about. That's where you're going to do your lead magnets. Then in your conversion, this is where you're going to sell. Now, of course, you can have a one-to-one conversation, but you can also do launches. So like, for example, again, I'm going back to you, Carole. Carole does a weekly webinar in her Facebook group. So it gets people going into her Facebook group, and she's also giving some added value. And hopefully she is talking about some of her services as well. So in order to create that conversion, yes, you can do a one-to-one conversation, but you can also do other things such as doing webinars. We heard that Victoria is doing a webinar, and I mean, it's a paid for one, but it's a low cost to entry. And she then knows that she's going to get people who are really interested in that perimenopause situation. So they are raising their hand to say, I'm your ideal client here. And then when we look at loyalty with your clients, this is where you want to give your special offers to your clients, or you might want to create a free program. I know there's a lady here who does Arbonne, and I absolutely love Arbonne stuff. And what I like is when the person that I buy it from, Alex, she sends me in the post some new free fizz sticks because a new flavor has come out. And the great thing is I can try it and decide if I like it or not. And if I don't like it, I know that I'm not going to spend that money on a box that actually isn't to my taste. And of course, if I do like it, I go ahead and I buy some. So it's a great way to actually get me to buy more things. And she invests in the cost of giving me the free product and putting it in a little like jiffy bag and sending it to me in the post. So there is a cost to her, and there is no guarantee that I'm going to buy. But what she is doing is creating loyalty with me. And then finally, the referral thing is where you would have a reward program. You know, so often what people want to do is they really want you to refer your services to somebody else, but there's no way to reward them. And I always remember once I was with a client, well, she wanted to work with me, and she said, all of my business has come from referral, and her programs were like 3K. And she was running programs that had about 20, 25, sometimes 30 people in it. So she was making a lot of money. So people were coming on her program and then referring other people. She was doing minimal marketing, but what she wanted to do was she wanted to get more people in. And she was asking me how she could do that. And when I asked her how she rewarded those people who referred other people, she said she didn't. She didn't even send them a thank you card, you know, and people should be rewarded if they're referring clients to you. You've got to decide what that reward program might look like. And you might do something that's official, like an affiliate program, or you might do something that's unofficial, where you might just send them a nice bunch of flowers, or you might send them a lovely voucher for a spa day, or to go out and have dinner in a lovely restaurant, you know, they like. You can do it as fixed and official or as easy as you want. But if you want to refer, if you want people to refer you and they are referring you, please make sure that you reward them. So let's come back to the elegant close. So I wanted to share this with you. As I said, there's loads that you can do about funnels. And I didn't want to start going into the technicality of it, because first of all, you've got to decide what your funnel is going to be and how is it going to work. But one of the things that you can do is an elegant close. And this really, really helps you to sell. So rather than write on a social media post, click here to buy, or DM me, or sign up to my program, or click this link to have a one-to-one with me or a discovery call, I suggest doing the following so you close with elegance and convert more clients. So number one is SEO. Now, SEO is really important when it comes to making your funnels work. And what I would definitely say is, if you don't know how to do this, work with an expert like Helen, because she can help you do this. So, and I would really recommend that you make this one of your first exercises, really understanding, even if you haven't got a website, really understanding what your SEO is. What are those keywords and phrases? Because what you want to do is you want to make sure they're going throughout everything. You want to make sure they're in the social media posts that you write. Yes, you definitely want to make sure it's on your website. You want to make sure that those SEO words or phrases are in any videos or live Facebook Lives that you create. If you are creating any type of lead magnet, you want to make sure it's all in there. And so getting your SEO done first and really understanding what those keywords are and what you want to get known for is the first part in having this elegant close. The second part is about having omnipresence. So what happens a lot of time, and you're going to have to decide how you want to do with this. The one thing that we always say to people, I always definitely say, is choose one social media platform and learn it inside out, master it. And if you're really serious about mastering a social media platform, often you have to learn from somebody or something. So YouTube is fantastic for learning how to use those social media platforms. And also as well, there are lots of programs out there that you can buy that are quite small amounts of money to get further learning. But what you want to make sure is that you have got a presence on every social media platform. Once you've mastered one, you want to start mastering your second. And then as your business grows, at some point, you're going to have to decide to bring somebody on to help you, because it is just too much work for one person if you're trying to, say, for example, run a coaching business or run a styling business or, run a pet service or pet care agency. It's too much to do all of this social media. So one, you want to have a presence on every channel. You just want to sign up and make sure you're there. And then what you want to do is when you want to sell something, so let me say if Helen was selling one of her programs around SEO, I know she's got an online program. What Helen would need to do is go and change all the banners on her social media platforms and adapt all the bios that she's got so it's all reflecting that program that she is selling. So now if your client goes to your Facebook business page, they're going to see the same banner that's on your Facebook personal profile that might be on your your LinkedIn, and might also be over in your bio on your Instagram. And what you just want to make sure is that it's all joining up so it's seamless. And that's your omnipresence. You're everywhere saying the same thing. And then, of course, once you've finished selling that particular product or service, you can go and change them back again. But that's what you want to do. And then what you've got to make sure is that your content relates to those topics that you're trying to sell. So I've given an example here of selling a styling course. Sorry, I keep using you, Carole. But if Carole is opening up, which she will be at some point, her styling membership, what she wants to do is make sure that all her posts relate to styling. That they're not talking about something else, because people want to sign up to a membership because it is about styling. So when I open up mine to talk about my sales, that's what I'm going to be doing across all my social media platforms, is talking about sales. So then what happens is the clients just keep seeing the same message again and again and again. So when you I just want to drill down a little bit deeper for this elegant close on social media for you. When you actually create a post, regardless of what platform it's on, this is what I would recommend you do. Always have a heading, and you want to make that heading, it needs to be it needs to grab your audience. And I use a program called Co-Schedule Analyzer, and it's free. There is a pro version of it where you pay for it, but it is also free. And put your heading into that. And what you always want to get is 70. It marks it out on things like how many standard words are you using, how many emotional words are you using, how many unusual words are you using. There's something else that it marks you out on. And 70 and above means you've got a great headline. So always do a headline. I personally always put my headlines in caps. It's not grammatically correct. We're always taught that you shouldn't do that when you're writing. But in order to make it stand out, I always put my heading in caps. Give great value in your post. Remember, you're either educating or entertaining or informing your clients. Always end your post with a question, because it means that when somebody reads it, when the last thing they read is a question, their brain is trying to start to answer that. They're far more likely there to then actually respond and leave a comment. Don't say, DM me or sign up to my program. Instead, offer them something. So for example, let's say, and I know Helen gives a terrific amount of value in her post. Let's say if Helen does a post and she says, these are the 5 key crucial things you need to do in SEO. And she tells you what they are in her post. Then at the end, what she wants to say is, And if you want to get the next 5 essential keys, or if you want to know the 5 mistakes people always make, then download my lead magnet. This is your elegant close, because what you're doing is you're getting the client to take one step further to you. When you say DM me, your client knows you're going to sell to them, or your potential client knows you're going to sell. Now, it doesn't mean that some people won't take you up on that opportunity, but everyone's really scared that it's going to be a heavy sell. But when you say, here's this lead magnet that I've got, or here's this piece of information, or here's this video that will give you this information, they take one step closer. And then what you need to do is put in a follow-up plan in order to start to create that relationship so you can convert your client. And that is what you do with an elegant close. And that's how your funnel helps you to draw those people in and to take it to the next level. Oh, right. Okay, so that was the end of the presentation. I'm just going to tell you very, very quickly, if anybody would like to work with me further, this is going to take less than a minute. I do have my Sales Mastery, Conversations That Convert. It's going to be starting in May. So if anybody is interested, please let me know. And if you are interested in working with me, you can go to my calendar. I have a 30-minute call that I give to people if they just want to chat a few things through, but that is if you're interested in working with me. So I think now we can go to your questions. I haven't had a look in the chat. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, does anybody have any questions at all?
Yes, please, if that's all right. Oh, hello.
Is that you, Lisa?
Sorry, yeah, it is. Hi.
Oh, hi, Lisa.
So, yeah, I think that's a really good point about what you were saying about word of mouth referrals and how to reward customers for referring you. So I do discounts off further sessions, but I appreciate maybe they don't need or want any further sessions. I know you mentioned presents or little gifts for the dogs or the cats.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of just like, how much would you say to spend? I always find that quite tricky.
Yeah, okay, I'll try and help you here.
Thanks.
So just to sort of like expand on that question for you, Lisa, what I would be doing, so like say your client comes in, which is the parent of the fur baby, but the fur baby's got a name. So like I look after my niece's fur babies. They're called Saki and Mochi. Obviously, love it. That's their surname because that's my niece's surname.
Japanese dessert. Mochi.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Saki is the wine, you know, and they have their own Instagram accounts as well, everyone. What Saki does. The elder sibling. But what you could do is then, obviously, you'll have their address and stuff like that. You could send a little sort of like, I would get some little, a very small, oh God, I'm thinking of the name, like little envelopes, padded envelopes. And what I would do is I would put little dog treats in there.
Okay.
Send them in. Not a lot, but I would put them as the address to the dog. So it would come to say, Saki, love it. So is my niece going to like that her dog got mail? Absolutely. And then in that, something like, and you know how much we love our animals. So it would be something like, you know, dear Saki, it was so lovely to see you the other day. We love you so much. Here's a little treat to make your day, because you make our day when you come to us. Now, I can tell you, if I read that, that's got my heart. And I'm going to bring my dog back again, because I know that you love Saki. And I want to leave my dog with people that I know love Saki and will take care of him. And really what you're doing is, although you're aiming it at the dog or the cat or whatever animal, it's the parent's heart that you're actually pulling on those heartstrings there. Sure. I would make it low cost. So like, for example, I mean, you've got to buy the envelope. There's also the postage. So that's probably going to be a couple of pounds. And then you're going to put the dog treat. So I would say if you could do it for £3 or £4, that would be great. But again, what I would also do, it depends how much you're charging. That does have to become a part of cost of sale. If you have a client that comes to you an awful lot and is spending a lot of money with you, then you would maybe increase that. You might still send the little treats every so often, but maybe when it's the dog's birthday, they get a birthday card with like maybe a bag of treats. And at Christmas, they get a little card with a bag of treats. You know, so that's a little bit more expensive, but you know that client is coming to you and spending a lot of money.
Sure. All right, thanks, Carole.
Does that help?
Really helpful, thank you.
Okay.
Carole, we've just got time. We're going to have to go into the breakout rooms in a moment. But Jennifer's put a question into the chat just about basically saying DM me on Instagram, because that's quite, I mean, you see it on quite a lot of things there. Would you mind just addressing that one just before we go into the breakout rooms?
Okay, so could you just repeat, please, the question, Jennifer? Yes, if you could just start with my question is?
Jennifer, do you want to ask it, Jennifer?
You're on mute, Jennifer.
Sorry, I was just trying to find it. My question was, I thought that saying DM me on Instagram was sort of the done thing to do, because I thought that was the lingo. So, and I wouldn't do that, let's say, on LinkedIn. So is there places where you can use that lingo, or do you recommend just not using it at all on your post?
Yeah, I recommend not using it. And you're right. A lot of people, and look, have I ever used it? Yes. If you go back and look at some of my posts, it will definitely be there as well. However, what you have to say to yourself is, you see these very big, because Jennifer, sorry, could you remind me what you do?
I run
meditation. Yeah. So the thing is, Jennifer, what happens is we see a lot of these really big coaches say, DM me. And that's fine for them, and they get a ton of DMs. But they have got a very big platform from what they're operating. When we have a much smaller platform and we say, DM me, people think we're going to sell to them. And people run a mile and they don't DM. So give something a little. So you might have a free meditation. So you might be talking about something about meditation. And I personally love meditation. I think it's so good for people. And what you might say is, if you would like to get started in meditation, I've got this free meditation. Or you might be talking about focus, and you might say, I've got this free little, 10-minute meditation on focus. And that way, and then you can just say, the link is in the comments. So let's say you're writing on a Facebook post, you might say the link is in the comments. People then go to the comments, and in order to get that free meditation, they've got to give you their email address. Once you've got that, you can then go back to them. And I would suggest don't go back via email, go back via Facebook Messenger, or go back via, if they've come from Instagram Messenger, or LinkedIn message, and say, I know that you got my meditation. I just wondered if you'd had an opportunity to use it, how you felt about it. Start having that conversation, because the person might turn around and say, oh no, sorry, I haven't used it. It jogs them to go and use it. And then you can go back a bit later, but that's how you get into the conversation. And if they say, didn't really work for me, say, okay, well, tell me a bit more. Maybe I can help you. And now you're creating a conversation for conversion. Brilliant. Yeah. As opposed to a conversation of, I want to sell you. We all want to sell. I mean, we're all in business. We all want to make money, but there is a way to do it so that the client feels safe with you. And they will buy from you.
Yeah. Brilliant. I could listen to you all day. You're amazing. So thank you very much for that.
I could talk all day. That's the problem.